And welcome back on Take Action News with David Shuster, the executive producer, Daniel Marins here on Saturday, May 11th. And of course, there was something that was a bit of a hopeful story as well this week in a certain way, and that is that 3 women were rescued in Cleveland from a basement where they had been held by kidnappers in Cleveland. And the man who did some of that rescuing, the man who found them, who heard the cries of Amanda Berry, a woman who had been locked in a basement for 10 years, where she, it is believed, was raped and gave birth to a child, was Charles Ramsey. Charles Ramsey, and his response, his interview after he heard her cries, went over, helped kick the door open, and then called the police with her, was made rounds around the internet for his charm and grace. Here's how he described finding out that Amanda Berry was in trouble.
Her screaming. I meet my McDonald's. I come outside. I see this girl going nuts, trying to get out of her house. So I go on the porch. I go on the porch, and she says, "Help me get out. I've been in here a long time." So, you know, I figured it's a domestic violence dispute. So I open the door, and we can't get in that way because how the door is, it's so much that the body can't fit through, only your hand. So we kick the bottom, and she comes out with the little girl, and she says, "Call 911. My name was Amanda Berry."
Now, did you know who that was when she said that?
When she told me, it didn't register until I got the call of 911, and I'm like, I'm calling the 911 for Amanda Berry? I thought this girl was dead.
And of course, it went even further because Charles Ramsey described the fact that there was no suspicion, no indication that his neighbors, now the accused Ariel Castro and his 2 brothers, 3 men in their 50s, there was no indication that these folks were capable of kidnapping or that they had anyone else with them in the house. They had normal neighborly relations. Here's how Ramsey described that.
And like I say, my neighbor, you got some big testicles to pull this off, bro. Because we see this dude every day. I mean, every day.
How long have you lived here?
I've been here a year.
Okay.
You see where I'm coming from?
Right.
I barbecue with this dude. We eat ribs and whatnot and listen to salsa music. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. And you had no indication that there was anything going on?
Bro, not a clue that girl was in that house or anybody else was in there against their will. Because how he is he just comes out to his backyard, plays with the dogs, tinker with his cars and motorcycles, goes back in the house.
Well, and of course, who could blame him? Who would know that a neighbor would be locking someone like that for that long? And of course, this was perhaps the most interesting, revealing, and honest part of that interview with the local news reporter, and that was the racial dynamic, and that is that Charles Ramsey is a relatively young to middle-aged black man who essentially rescued a young white woman. Here's how Charles described that feeling.
I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms. Something is wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much for your time. And
either she homeless or she got problems. That's the only reason why she ran to a black man.
Now, of course, the implication there is effectively an honest one, that given the suspicion that some white people have, particularly towards black men, it may be less likely that they would run into an unknown black man's arms. And I thought that was remarkably honest,